Hi, this is Michael Van Horen from The Social Chef. Tonight, by special request, I'm going to be making tiramisu for Michaela. She's been asking for the tiramisu. There's a lot of you been asking. Everybody knows this is kind of like my favorite thing in the world to eat. Try not to indulge in it too much, but I'm going to be making some tiramisu. You're going to need, there's a few ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need ladyfingers. You're going to need heavy whipping cream. You're going to need some cocoa. You're going to need some eggs. You're going to need some sweet, bittersweet chocolate, some sugar. You're going to need some confectionery sugar, some espresso, which is key because you want strong coffee. In Italian, espresso means pick me up. So I can promise you one thing, my tiramisu will definitely pick you up. And you need a little mascarpone cheese, the best, okay, you want good mascarpone cheese, a little bit of vanilla extract, and obviously a little brandy. Now, different people use different things. Some people don't use brandy, they'll use a coffee liqueur. There's different things that you can use. I'm telling you what I use. You can make your own ladyfingers. I'm not going through the trouble to do that. I like a soft ladyfinger. You know, some of them are like those hard, like a biscuit. I like the ones that are a little bit soft. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make espresso at least 2 cups. Me personally, I like about 2 1/4 cups because I like my espresso, or excuse me, my tiramisu moist. I do not like a dry tiramisu. I like mine with a little bit of liquid at the pan after you scoop it out. Maybe the next morning you go in there for breakfast and you grab a little bit of espresso, a little bit of the tiramisu right to start your day. So the first thing I'm going to do is after I make my espresso, you want it hot. So you take your espresso and you put it in a relatively large pan because you're going to be dipping your ladyfingers in here later. You're going to add about a 1/2 cup of sugar, and you're going to put a 1/4 cup of brandy in here. And I'm not going to measure that out, I'm just going to guess. Now, let me give you a little advice. Some of you may not like alcohol. You can substitute or leave it out altogether. I know a lot of people that do that. If you have guests that are coming to your house that drive you crazy, maybe like Aunt Edna or Uncle Willie or something like that, that's when you put a little bit more brandy in, so after dinner, they fall asleep on you and they're done. They don't bother you, they shut up and just sit down. Of course I'm joking. Anyway, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to stir this up real good, and then I'm going to stick this in the refrigerator because I want this to dissolve first, and that's why I want it hot. But then after I'm done, I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator because I want it cool. I'm going to be reserving a 1/3 cup of this to add in here later, and I'll cover that when I get to that point. But I want a good espresso. You want something strong. Don't just make regular coffee. If you're making regular coffee, make sure you pack the heat. You want it strong. I've been making this for a long time, and I have had tiramisu every place. When I was I've been to Italy a lot, and when I was in Italy, every place I go, I am constantly tasting the tiramisu. And I haven't found any that is all that great. Maybe I'm a little partial to mine, but I think I make a pretty good tiramisu. You'll have to be the test of that. So I'm going to stir this up, I'm going to stick it in the fridge, I'll be back in a little bit, and I'll show you the next steps. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 1.5 cups of the heavy whipping cream. We're going to put it in here, and we're going to whip it up. And I'm going to do it on slow at first until it starts getting a little creamier, and then I'll speed it up a little bit. So I'll be back in a second. We're going to add 2 egg yolks to that. We're going to add 1/3 of the cup of the mixture that I made of the espresso with the sugar and a little bit of that brandy. And we're going to add a little bit confectionery sugar as well, and just a dash of vanilla extract. I'm going to whip that up, and once that gets really nice and creamy, then I'm going to add my mascarpone cheese. I'm telling you, if you have never had tiramisu, this is the closest to an orgasm that you will ever have without actually having one. Trust me, this is good stuff. Alright, so we're going to speed it up. I'll be back in a moment. So it's almost at the consistency that I want. You want it to, when you stick a spoon in there and it's a little creamy. I'm going to now add 2 egg yolks. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract, just about 1/4 tablespoon, just a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of confectionery sugar. Typically what I do is as as I'm mixing this, I'll put a little bit in at a time. So I don't want to be rude and have you listen to this thing go, but that's typically what I do. So I'll mix this up, let it get a little bit thicker, and as I go, then I'm going to put in a 1/3 cup of my mixture that I had with the espresso, the sugar, and the brandy. So I'll put that in here. I'll let that mix up a little bit. That adds a really good flavor when you put in the mascarpone cheese, because the mascarpone cheese doesn't have much of a flavor. There's a place here in Florida that has this lobster mascarpone over pasta. It is unbelievable. But this is really good. Mascarpone cheese is very good. So I'm going to let this mix up, and then I'll come back and I'll add the mascarpone cheese. Add a pound of mascarpone cheese. Put a pound of that in. We'll mix that up really good. Okay. We'll give that a whirl. And then we're just about done. Alright, next I'm going to come in, I'm going to take the ladyfingers, and remember we made a lot of espresso, that mixture. That's where it's going to go. So I'm going to take my ladyfingers, and you got to do this, you know, if you use the ladyfingers, it's more like a biscotti, like a cookie, it's a little crunchier, it's a little easier. I like the soft ones, okay? So I just dunk it in there like that, quick turn it over, pull it up like this, and just lay it in my pan. I think this is like 9 by 13. I don't know, I'm not a baker. One of the great things is that, I guess you can say, fortunately for me, is I don't have much of a sweet tooth. So you want to measure these so when you dunk them and you put them in here that they fit. So I'm not a big dessert eater. A lot of my friends are. I know a lot of the girls typically have a sweet tooth. Me, on the other hand, I don't have much of a sweet tooth. Okay, so I'm going to go right down the side here. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit of my spread with the mascarpone cheese. I'm going to layer this. Hey Bailey, what's going on, buddy? Bailey stopped by to say hi to everybody. Well, come up. Say hi to everybody. There you go. This is my sous chef, who obviously seems to like tiramisu. It's really not much my dog does not like. So I'm just going to layer this. I'm going to make 2 layers, so you want to make sure that you save enough. You put it on top. And then I'm going to come in and I am going to put on a little bit of shaved chocolate. And I'm going to put on a little bit of cocoa powder. Some cocoa. Alright, so we got that layered in there. Good to go. So layer a little bit of this. It's probably better if you have a sieve, you know, one of those things, one of those strainers that you put it through, but unfortunately I don't have one, so just be careful, you don't want to put too much in here. I'll just sprinkle a little bit of cocoa. What do you think, Bailey? Does that look pretty good to you? Okay, so do that, and then I'm going to take some shaved chocolate, and I've learned the hard way over the years that I keep a little bit of the paper on the end, because if not, it melts in your hand and makes a mess. Alright, so just come in here, put some shaved chocolate. I like mine kind of fine. I don't want to be biting in anything hard. And, you know, like I said before, I'm really big on making sure that mine's really moist. So I use soft ladyfingers that absorb the liquid mixture, the espresso. Okay, and then I'll do it all over again. So I'll take another layer, I'll put another layer over, I'll do exactly the same thing, and then I'll come in and I'll finish it off with a little bit more cocoa, a little bit more of the bittersweet chocolate. I'll put a cover on it, I'll refrigerate it. The thing about tiramisu is it's very good the next day. You want to let this soak, and you want everything to kind of mesh in there together. So I'll be back, I'll show you the finished product, but you won't really want to see me put another layer on. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay. The end. A little bit more bittersweet chocolate. And then Bailey, I think it's time for you to go for a walk. What do you think, buddy? Huh? You are not much help. I don't think my dog really likes when I make things that he can't indulge in. Okay, so we are done. This is it. I'm going to cover it up. I'll put it back in the refrigerator. I'll let this sit overnight. And quite honestly, I am not going to be eating this. I'm going to give this to my neighbors. May freeze this because I think my friend Dawn's coming up tomorrow. I think we're going to make some ossobuco. I got another friend, my friend Tiana. She's coming up from Miami this week. So we're going to make a bunch of different stuff. We'll share it with you. But this is the masterpiece. This is my favorite thing to make. It's one of my favorite foods. And, you know, Michaela, you asked for it. You got it. Everybody, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. You guys have a great night.